what we call a short wave, a disturbance moved through and brought us that rainfall. Now we're looking at lots of clouds over in Port Arthur, and this cloud cover will be decreasing, we think, over portions of the area overnight. Otherwise, in your weather headlines, lower chances are expected Thursday as we're in between systems. Some modeling not showing anything tomorrow. I'm reluctant to do that because of a nearing front and also because of, well, no cap and instability. So need something to kick it off. Don't see much, but can't rule it out. Otherwise, a weak front will come in on Friday with scattered showers and storms in the forecast. And that front may bring a little drier air mass to the area, especially on Saturday. And on, say, Monday, we'll be watching upper level high pressure build over the area. It's not terribly strong, and so maybe some small chances coming up next week if we can get a sea breeze to develop. Otherwise, in your allergy report, grass pollen is 0 now, and we're looking at moderate levels of weed and mold across the area on your Southeast Texas allergy report. So we'll go with a 20% coverage coming up on Thursday, and again, may not see that, and about a 50% coverage on your Friday, a break Saturday and Sunday, then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If we can get a sea breeze going, small chances, maybe not at all. That's the way it's looking at this point. So maybe near normal rainfall, but again, this is quickly moving off to the east. Look at the back edge of the cloud line, roughly from Woodville back over towards West Jeff and back over towards, say, Winnie at this time. Maybe have sun over that way, and as you can see, the rains that we saw this afternoon have quickly moved off towards the east. Temperatures have rain cooled very nicely into the 70s across Southeast Texas because of that rain. And checking in the rain department, how much fell, at least how much was radar I think has fallen. Very little along 190 north of Jasper, northern Jasper and Newton counties saw some thunderstorm activity, but generally the highest amounts of rains were along the coastline and anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, and then over towards Winnie, higher amounts of over 2 inches fell over that way. But again, that led to a little bit of street flooding in parts of the area, but it's all moved off towards the east, and things have receded. Otherwise, taking a look across the state, there's this latest shortwave, and that shortwave right there is quickly moving off to the east, front over our area. So we're going to be watching showers and storms developing and heading along that front off to the south and east. Right now, modeling does try to weaken that before it ever reaches our area, but as you can see, that cloud cover being pushed off towards the north and east, so we may see decreasing cloudiness coming up tonight. So taking a look at high-res modeling, and it shows the clouds moving out, or I should say the rain's moving out, and thunderstorms off towards our northwest, never making it to the area. So it looks like partly to mostly cloudy skies overnight. We should see lows into the upper 60s to lower 70s. And again, some patchy fog is possible. Our normal low this time of year is 71, by the way. Otherwise, as we head on into tomorrow afternoon, high-res modeling says could see mostly sunny skies. I don't know about that. We'll go with partly cloudy at this point. But again, a lot of models do not show a lot of rain tomorrow across the area as high temperatures reach the mid 80s for sure. I think we could get into the upper 80s in the lakes area. Otherwise, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, this is the disturbance. We've been talking about this for days, about how this disturbance was going to set off showers and thunderstorms across the area, and that's precisely what happened. So it's out of here like Friday's check. We get a break on Friday, so nothing to kick off showers and storms. But as we work on into Friday late, this is the trough of low pressure that will drag a front in earlier in the day. And then we're looking at a northerly flow to develop, except for this one little piece of energy right here. It's called another short wave. It's mainly going to be off to the east. I don't think we're going to have enough moisture to produce showers out of this. But as you can see, a nice northerly flow, kind of like what we get in the fall, is expected as we head on into Sunday. And that looks like a pretty nice weekend to me. Then a weak ridge of high pressure. You can see it right over East Texas. This is the symbol in meteorology for high pressure, but you can also see these contour lines. That is like a hill, and that is a ridge of high pressure over us. It's not terribly strong, but it should help to keep rain chances low, and it'll boost afternoon highs into the upper 80s, maybe around the lower 90s in parts of the area. Then we develop a southwest flow, and I'm going to have to watch for disturbances riding in that southwest flow. That may be a system or a disturbance that could produce better chances of rain as we head towards Wednesday. Right now, we'll keep it at a small 20% coverage. So the big deal, say Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is whether or not we get the winds to cooperate to produce a sea breeze. Otherwise, that 20% coverage is not going to happen. Otherwise, as you can see, that southwest flow will certainly develop, and that will bring us a warming flow across the area. Let me see if I have any questions across from our text line. And let's see. Nope. What is the average high and low this time of year? That is normally 69 for a low and a high of 89 degrees. Otherwise, so we take a look at the moisture profile, lots of moisture over the area, but that changes because of this cold, or I'll just call it a front. It's technically a cold front, but you can see how that certainly brings in a drier air mass. That's what all this brown is showing. That's drier air filtering on into the area. And as you can see, Saturday, late day, we should see, well, that's not going to work out unless I get this way, but you can see late day Saturday, this drier air mass filtering into the area, and that would bring us, well, it'll feel a little bit better across the area in a dry day. Sunday, disturbance that I showed you just a minute ago has a little bit of moisture to work with. We think it's mainly going to be a cloud maker across the area, because I don't think there's going to be enough moisture at the surface to produce shower and thunderstorm activity. Otherwise, it's back to normal, a southeast flow straight off the Gulf, and the moisture really increases across the state. This is pretty high moisture levels in the atmosphere. That's 2.5 to 2.25. That's pretty high moisture over the area as we head towards Wednesday. And again, that's because of that disturbance moving in. Remember, that southwest flow bringing in a disturbance. So we may have to increase rain chances because there's not going to be any capping and quite a bit of instability next Wednesday. So maybe a 30 to 40% coverage. Right now, we're going to wait another day before we elevate rain chances the middle of next week. On the Gulf tomorrow, looking at slightly choppy seas in your coastal marine forecast around 2 feet with a south wind at, let's see, 10 knots. Water temperature is very warm, 88 degrees, and high tides tomorrow to be past 7:12 a.m. and 3:03 p.m. Sunrise 6:14 a.m. and sunset at 8:11 p.m. See, I'm able to take my time and show you and talk about everything right here. That's why I love this 15-minute weathercast. Otherwise, as you can see, decreasing cloudiness. We may go partly to mostly cloudy, but it's not going to be cloudy overnight. As temperatures drop into the the upper 60s to lower 70s, light winds going calm. And again, we're getting a head start on that cool down because of the rains today. And as the temperatures cool to dew point, we'll see 100% relative humidity, and that may kick up a little bit of light fog tomorrow morning. I don't think it's going to be terribly thick, but do be cautious on your way in tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, we're going to go partly cloudy, maybe mostly sunny, and we may not get that 20% coverage. It may be a dry day tomorrow. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. The reason I say that is because I have a lot of high-res modeling that says we don't get a drop tomorrow across southeast Texas. Some of the big global models are pretty wet, but I'm going to go with the high-res and go with just a 20% coverage. Regardless, I don't think heat indices are going to be terrible, looking at maybe the low to mid 90s up in the lakes area. So we'll go 87 for Beaumont tomorrow and a 20% coverage as high temperatures again reach the mid 80s, and you can see low rain chances. I'm not sure I buy that 40% coverage, but 20%. This is model data here, which you saw at the beginning there. This is my forecast for tomorrow. We're going 20% coverage up in the lakes, partly cloudy skies, and a high of 88. Now let's see what the model says. The model says 40% in the morning. I'm not buying that, and we'll discard that. Now 20% throughout the day tomorrow. I don't know about that either. It may be dry, as you saw on Futurecast, didn't show anything. So we'll go with 88, 89 degrees, and that's what I do. I look at all these models and see which one's doing the best, disagree with some, toss some, agree with others, and this is your forecast from what I've gleaned at looking at all of these different types of modeling. So we'll go the 20% coverage tomorrow, 50% coverage coming up on Friday as that front works into the area. And as I showed, Here comes that front, and look at the drier air mass filtering on into the area as we work on into Saturday and possibly Sunday. However, Sunday, I do expect a little better chance of seeing a little more cloud cover because of a weak disturbance, but again, it looks dry across the area. And again, Monday, that ridge of high pressure builds on in. Again, it's not a strong upper level high or ridge, so upper 80s to around the lower 90s seems reasonable. And that 20% coverage Monday and Tuesday is certainly speculative at this point. It may be dry, but as you also saw, disturbance coming in on Wednesday, higher moisture levels, disturbance moving in. That would be a kicker for shower and thunderstorm activity coming up on Wednesday. So at this point, we'll go with a low chance, 20 to 30% coverage next Wednesday. In review, taking a look at Futurecast, and it is showing a decrease in cloud cover tonight. We'll go with partly to mostly cloudy skies. And again, can't rule out a little bit of patchy fog. I don't think it's going to be terribly thick tomorrow morning as temperatures drop into the upper 60s to lower 70s. Then tomorrow, both the HER, this is what the HER is showing, very little chance of rain tomorrow. It shows dry weather. The Euro does the same thing. It only has a 20% coverage. So some of the big models that I normally use showing a dry day tomorrow with highs in the mid to upper 80s expected across southeast Texas. Otherwise, rainfall, as we take a look, this is the Euro, and it doesn't show much through Friday, as you can see. And we expect our best chance of shower and thunderstorm activity over the next 7 days to come in on Friday with that front working in from the north. Say Friday morning. Could see some scattered showers and storms as it does work into the area. And finally, a review of your 7-day forecast is what I was planning to do, and it does show that we are expecting lower chances. There we go with the sun. Lower chances tomorrow. Let's see, don't see any gators right now. Let me get out of the way. It's our new gator cam over at Gator Country, looking really cool. I love watching those gators. They like to crawl up out of the water up underneath those trees late in the day. Let me check and see if anybody has any questions. And nope, no questions. Otherwise, clouds moving on out of the area, and it looks like partly to mostly cloudy skies across southeast Texas. Let me get back to the 7-day forecast, and it does look like, again, lower chances of rain as this system is moving out across southeast Texas this evening. There's the heaviest rains that we saw in Port Arthur back over to Orange and Jefferson County. And again, Futurecast, I'll get past that and show you the extended forecast after this point right here. We are looking at highs in the mid 80s in the triangle, the upper 80s tomorrow with just a 20% coverage of showers and storms. Again, the heat index probably in the lower 90s up that way tomorrow. All right, review of the 7-day forecast. 20% coverage at most tomorrow. It'll probably be less than that. Heat indices probably in the lower 90s. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 80s after a fairly normal low temperature tomorrow morning. For Friday, at most a 50% coverage of scattered showers and storms as a weak front pushes into the area. This is not a terribly strong front, but it's pretty decent for this time of year. Otherwise, that front will bring lower humidity and not so much cooling, but because of the drier air, may drop those lows in the mid to upper 60s, provided it doesn't stall along the coastline or something that we don't expect, and it does indeed push out